cut off from my previous attempt. Maybe my signal is better. It's a snow day, so maybe that's the issue. I just recorded a podcast. I had a reader question on how to reject your husband if you don't want to have sex. And I'll just read you the email. The podcast is going to come out, but I'll read you the email because might as well, right? Hold on. Where is it? Where's the thing? Beats me. Let me see. Here it is. The guy says, as the higher drive spouse in my marriage, and if you're watching this, please send me likes. Thank you. Please send me likes. As a higher drive spouse in my marriage, I do most of the initiating and hear no pretty frequently. Some no's feel a lot more like a rejection than others. This is usually when they're accompanied by things like, we just did it, you're insatiable, you have a one-track mind, you should just take care of things yourself. Maybe if you had done X, I would have done this. What is wrong with you? Maybe later, with a vague date that doesn't happen. And this guy's saying he understands that it's always not going to be the good time, or maybe she's not in the mood or what have you. But he's saying, isn't there a nicer way for her to answer? I thought I've covered this, but when I look back, I see that I basically said not to say basically everything she says. And I thought that it was obvious what you might say, but that's stupid on me to assume that anything is obvious in the realm of sex, relationships, just life. Like what's obvious to one is not obvious to others, of course. And send a like if you're watching. There's only a few of you because I don't think I have a good connection. But, there's 10 of you now, so send likes. I keep going in and out because it's a snow day. But anyway, so what should you say? You should say, not now, honey. I don't feel well, or I'm not in the mood, but we could do it tomorrow, or we could do it Friday. And then you give a hug and a kiss and you say, I love you. So basically the same thing as you would want him to say if you asked him to go to dinner, right? So if you asked him to go to dinner, you say, oh, I feel like going to dinner tonight. And he'd be like, ew, food addict. Like, what's up with you? We just went to dinner last week. What is wrong with you? Why don't you just go yourself? I am not in the mood to deal with that dinner all the time. Is that why you married me? For somebody to go to dinner with? Isn't that funny? But like, that's like so absurd, right? But that would be the equivalent of how some women ask when the guy when the guy wants to have sex, right? It's like crazy. That would be like a crazy response. So, and I see some of you are laughing, so thank you. And send me likes and send me laughing emojis. But if you don't want to have sex with your husband, you're not supposed to then assassinate his character if you want to remain in a loving relationship. Of course you don't have to have sex as much as he wants. Of course not. You don't have the same libido, obviously. But first of all, you should get into sex therapy and understand about responsive desire. A lot of women, they just literally just come from a place of no. And a lot of men do too. Men who are more anxious and rigid do just say no. When she says something like, you want to go to dinner tonight? They're like, no. They like literally do not even think, hey, that sounds good. Maybe I would like to go to dinner tonight. That sounds like a fun idea. They don't do that. They're just like, no. She's like, do you want to do basically anything? And he's like, no. And I talk about this all the time. There's a characteristic of rigidity, anxiety, depression. A lot of men come from a place of no, right? So of course, I talk about all the time, if you want your wife to be more open-minded in bed, be more open-minded out of bed. However, also, understand that, she could, in theory, go to dinner with someone else, although it wouldn't be the same, but he's not allowed to have sex with someone else. So that is, another piece of the equation as well. Point being, if you act like a jerk about your partner asking you to do something you don't want to do, then that is literally being a jerk. Your partner counts. In people, your partner's a person. So if you're a jerk to your partner, then you're a jerk, like at least in some large percent of your life. So try not to act like a jerk. And also, women who know about responsive desire, because they follow my podcast, my posts, they go to sex therapy, whatever, they go to therapy with me, they're like, oh, well, of course I'm not in the mood right now. Like some women think he's like saying, do you want to have sex? And they're like, let me scan my body. Am I horny? Oh, no, I'm not. So we shouldn't. Well, like, that would be like if you only accepted dinner invitations if you were already starving right in that moment. No, you know that with the right atmosphere and with time, you can get hungry. So it's the same thing with sex and responsive desire. You can want to have sex once you start to do it. Once you start to kiss, have foreplay, etc., your body can respond. If you're waiting for spontaneous arousal within monogamy in a long-term relationship, you can be waiting forever. So it would be like somebody on Ozempic waiting for his hunger to mean that he should go to dinner. If your husband is on Ozempic, he's never going to be hungry to go to dinner. Barely ever, right? Almost never. So shouldn't he still, though, go to date night? Yes. He could drink water, whatever he does, but he should be there. I did this in a podcast about what to do if you don't want to do something that your husband wants to do in bed specifically. I said, how about you literally suggest any other thing, right? Like you would if a friend said, do you want to get sushi and you don't like sushi? You would say, what about pizza? What about pasta? Or you would just go to the sushi place and get chicken teriyaki, right? But with a partner, people are like, oh no, I don't like oral sex. So therefore, I'm done. I'm done with this conversation because I don't do that. What about like literally every other thing? I'm sure he has like 17,000 other things he would want to try too. Pick one of them. One of them might be acting like you're alive or into it or something, God forbid. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously this man that wrote in is not a perfect person. Maybe he's super annoying as a husband. I don't know. But from the limited bit that he reported, is the woman being nice? No, so he's a person. Be nice to a fellow person, especially if you're married to them. And don't just tell them, no, you're a horn dog. Like, what if he was like, no, you're a food addict? That would be super offensive, right? So a person wants to go to dinner because that's a normal thing to do. A person wants to have sex in their marriage because that's a normal thing to do. So, those things are normative asks. They are not asking somebody to go far outside a comfort zone at all in most cases. And if you feel like that ask is very far outside your comfort zone to have normal, regular sexual relations within a marriage, then it is likely you were raised super sex negative and therapy can help. All right. Thanks, guys, for listening, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.